avert a government shutdown tonight. That's how close it came. It was only passed because the Democrats supported it. Johnson barely got one above a majority of his caucus. Half of his caucus voted against this deal. But it's a stopgap measure, as you pointed out, and it takes us to about the 1st of March. And between now and then, they have to deal with it. So let's talk about what's at stake there. So Biden originally proposed $67 billion of more spending for the current fiscal year. Kevin McCarthy made a deal with him before he was kicked out that essentially federal spending would not go up. Chuck Schumer just kind of renegotiated that deal with Mike Johnson. And while the numbers sort of are the same, in fact, Mike Johnson got one thing that's important. He got, to him anyway, he got a further cut in IRS spending from $10 billion to $20 billion. Now, the irony of this is cutting IRS spending actually increases the deficit, as this chart shows, because the government collects more than $1 from taxpayers who are not filing their taxes properly for every dollar we spend on more IRS agents to do those audits. And so the Republicans who claim they want to cut the deficit actually are increasing it because they're trying to give Americans more loopholes to not pay taxes. Now, the other issue that Johnson is going to face is the fact that his far-right caucus wants $58 billion of spending cuts. It is not at all clear that they will vote for any deal that Johnson makes. And once again, he's going to have to go to the Democrats to pass this thing, if and when we ever get to it, because of the immigration issue, which we'll get to in a second. He's going to have to go to the Democrats, and it'll be interesting to see how all that unfolds. And, of course, the question is, how long does Johnson survive with a caucus that doesn't even support him when he makes a deal?
So let's slide along the wall to that next chart on immigration. This is the question that's being debated as we speak in the Congress right now. The Senate says they're close to a deal, a bipartisan deal. The House won't take a good deal, it appears, because they're getting pressure from Donald Trump not to give Joe Biden a win. But let's talk about the immigration crisis and what it looks like right now in your chart.
Sure. So just as a reminder, yeah, we have had a big surge in what are called encounters at the border. It's up to about 2.6 million a year. This chart is in months, but it's about 2.6 million a year. But let's just be clear. These are not people who are sneaking across the border and disappearing into America to become illegal immigrants. These are people, as I'll talk about in just 1 second, who actually are in the hands of our Customs and Border Patrol and are going through the system. This group down here at the bottom are what are called the gotaways, the ones who actually do sneak across the border and disappear into our system. But the consequence of that is that this black line, almost 90% of the people who try to cross our border end up in the hands of Customs and Border Patrol. Wow. So it's not an issue of a wall of people sneaking across and disappearing. This number has actually come down very substantially for some complicated reasons that I'm going to spare you. And most of these people are in our hands. So what happens to them? So last year, 2.6 million of them ended up in the hands of Customs and Border Patrol, as you can see here, either by coming across through a port of entry or coming across somewhere else. And many of them just turn themselves into Border Patrol because they want to go through the system. They're going to claim asylum. Here's the problem. The problem is they end up in our court system. 1.5 million of them came across the border. They were apprehended. They were processed. And they were given what's called a notice to appear before an immigration court and begin their hearings. But it hasn't happened. It's because we have this huge backlog. Why do we have this huge backlog? Because Congress has not funded, ironically, and this is why we need this bill, Congress has not funded the whole immigration court system sufficiently to process all these folks. The other thing most people probably don't know is that 850,000 of them actually left. Some of them voluntarily, some of them were sent back. But out of the 2.6 million of them, 850,000 just went back. 300,000 got what's called parole, which is a humanitarian process for people coming from places like Haiti and Cuba, Venezuela, where there's essentially a failed state. But our court system is so messed up that of all these 2.6 million people, only fewer than 300,000 actually got relief at the end of the process. And so we need to pass this immigration bill to get this problem solved.
We do, and Republicans are obviously pushing the White House to reform the parole side of that. I suspect they probably will. And Lindsey Graham, who supports this bill, has said it's critical that they come to a negotiated settlement there. I suspect they will. Steve, thanks for those charts. I want to just remind our viewers that you're talking about how bad the deficit is, how bad the debt is, and how badly Donald Trump added to that, record-setting deficits, record-setting debt. But I just want to remind everybody that I guess it was about 10 years ago, while Barack Obama was president of the United States, you and a group of CEOs and other business leaders took out full-page ads, did everything you could to warn of the coming debt explosion, and Washington just won't listen. Like this is reminds me of trying to explain to liberal economists, and I know you did the same thing, about the warnings about inflation. And liberal economists kept saying, oh, it's never happened, it's not going to happen, and when it did happen, they said it's transitory, don't worry about it. Well, guess what? Your warnings, my warnings, other people's warnings about massive spending leading to deficits or leading to inflation happened. This national debt is so much worse. And yeah, it hasn't severely impacted us. But what happens, Steve, when it does? When the bill comes due?
Yeah, look, there's two terrible scenarios out there, that one of which will almost certainly unfold, one of which we have to see. The second of these is the financial markets. At what point do the financial markets wake up and say $34 trillion of debt, $2 trillion of deficits every year, adding to that debt as far as the eye can see? At what point do the markets wake up and say, we're not going to let you finance this at 4% anymore. We want 8, 10, 12% interest rates. We'll see how that unfolds. The one that we know is going to happen is that eventually this is going to have to be dealt with, and this debt, and the interest payments on it make it more and more difficult to find the spending money that we need for the other critical needs. And at some point, this is going to affect Social Security, Medicare, and all kinds of things that Americans feel essential, because the cost of servicing this debt, the interest costs, are going to squeeze out all kinds of other spending that we badly need to maintain and will have to increase as our society gets older.
All right, Steve Ratner, thank you very much once again. So Donald Trump continues to
There's somebody up on the dock shooting somebody out there. fuck? That was weird. Ooh, ooh. Okay. Why does my volume sound so fucking quiet again? Volume mixer. There we go. You should have stayed there, god damn it. He's up top. Now I ran all the way back here for no reason. One more PMC kill. Might be time to go soon. Yeah, fuck it. Time to go. The fuck was that thing? Okay, it could be good loot. Move on. Holy shit. Good thing you did come. His messages disappear way too quick. Dead scavs. Last time I saw a dead scav was a dude sitting in that fucking shack, and he sprayed me as I walked by. That was that scav there. Oh god, it dropped it at the exit. I actually got him. Where did it drop? It looked like it dropped right over there at extra. The fuck did it drop? Over there? Wow, right on extra. Somebody already hit this. Must have. Let's see if anybody else comes. Yeah, this is way better. Hey, alright. I think somebody had hit it when I hit it. Fuck it. Cooper.
Call for
Balance of nature makes it easy. Balance of Nature's fiber and spice is made from whole ingredients, just like the fruits and veggies, and is formulated to the same high standard. Simply put, it's the best fiber product on the market. I wouldn't take anything else. Together, fruits and veggies, fiber and spice make the whole health system. When you get enough fiber and enough nutrition through whole spices and whole fruits and vegetables, your whole world will change.
Excuse me.
Happy New Year. Get 35%
Hiccup.
off plus a free fiber and spice supplement by using discount code BOOM.
You need new replacement windows, but you're just not sure if they're in the budget this year,
Man,
right?
these loading
I'm
times
Brian
are
Gary here with
fucking
Ted
terrible.
Coons from Renewal by Anderson, and he's here to talk about how to make window replacement more affordable.
Well, first, Brian, you don't have to do them all. You could just replace your worst windows first. Or another way to make them affordable is to change the style of window. For example, you could do a sliding window instead of a casement. We have a lot of ways to make window projects
Renewal by
really
Anderson.
affordable.
Man, I hate these
Compared to other
fucking
window
commercials.
companies, you have a completely different business model.
Yeah, with other companies, there's just too
I
many
hate
people involved in
these
the process.
fucking
There's the
commercials.
manufacturer, the seller, and then the installer, and then the customer. And if
I'm
you
trying to
call
make
with a
some
problem,
money right
that's
now.
when they say, "Oh, well, we're the manufacturer. You
I'm
have to
doing
call
too
the
many
installer for that
upgrades and
problem,"
shit.
or vice versa. We're the full-service replacement window division of Anderson. With us, there's no passing the buck. At Renewal by Anderson, we sell, build, install, and warrant our windows and patio doors. So if there's ever an issue, we take full responsibility for it.
Why don't you sell vinyl windows?
It doesn't matter if it's a $200 window or a $1,200 window. A lot of vinyl windows just don't last.
The fuck? And stop fucking with me. Okay, guess we're done with that then. One sec.
Yhteinen Suomi. Se on puolustamisen arvoinen. Rauhan arvoinen. Kohtaamisen arvoinen.
Any sort of offensive in that area of the theater would likely be targeting the much weaker Luhansk Oblast sector, where again there's only about 12 villages that prevent the Russians from having the whole province. We think that if the Russians do indeed conduct any kind of a major attack into Kharkiv Oblast, that would likely be a feint, potentially designed to pull away some strained Ukrainian defenders away from what would be the main area of attack for the Russian forces. But for the time being, Kharkiv seems to be relatively safe.
What about the targeting by Ukraine of Voronezh, where there is a military airbase?
Yeah, the Russians, of course, have a tremendous number of forces that they've arrayed within Russia across the border, including in Voronezh and Belgorod. You have a lot of permanent bases and military infrastructure that is in Voronezh. and the Ukrainians rightfully seek to degrade those and destroy them because as the border of the current conflict, the front line has in many cases become the international border, and the staging areas have become within Russia itself.
Hello and welcome.
Wait,
to
how are
Frontline
those
for
not
Times
found in
Radio
raid?
with
I
me,
just
Kate
brought
Bow.
them.
And today we're catching up with George Barros from the Institute for the Study of War, which has become a leading authority on the war in Ukraine. George is the Russia team lead and the geospatial intelligence team lead. George, welcome back to Frontline. Thank you for your time.
Kate, thank you so much for having me once again. It's good to see you.
And in the recent update, or a recent update by ISW, it reports on Russian claims that its forces are preparing to launch a new offensive in the coming weeks once the ground freezes in eastern and southern Ukraine. What can you tell us about those reports and how credible they are?
Sure thing. So, as your listeners might know, seasonality impacts the way that fighting patterns happen in Ukraine. Fighting happens when the weather and ground conditions permit it. And in the winter, there's a decent chance that you'll get a good season for fighting once the ground freezes, the ground becomes hard, that previous fall mud becomes ice, and tracked vehicles can maneuver over it, and right before you get the spring thaw when it goes back to being mud. Right now, the weather forecast shows that it's going to go below zero and consistently stay below zero in late January, early February. We currently forecast that the Russians are likely setting conditions to be able to exploit that anticipated freeze in order to conduct a large-scale offensive operation. This would make a lot of sense to conduct this operation at this time. Unfortunately, since the Ukrainians were unable to achieve what they sought to do with their summer and fall counteroffensive, the Ukrainians have largely lost the initiative throughout the theater in Ukraine, everywhere except one place in southern Ukraine where they're trying to cross the Dnieper River. And of course, it is now an opportunity for the Russians to try to exploit their initiative and retake some territory. In terms of pattern of fighting, now is also a very logical time for the Russians to attack. Of course, at this exact same time last year in early 2023, the Russians conducted large offensives against Vuhledar and also in Luhansk Oblast. So this is all the factors and all the indicators are lining up.
And do you see any evidence of military repositioning or activity which supports these claims?
Yes. In recent weeks, we've seen the Russians reconstitute units. They've conducted some operational level rotations. They've decreased the intensity of their attacks since around New Year's, likely in order to rest some units in order to prepare for another major undertaking. And within Luhansk Oblast specifically, there's only about a dozen or so villages that the Russians do not control. So if President Putin seeks to create a political and informational victory to bolster his popularity ahead of his staged planned March 2024 re-election, he could potentially say the war is going well, Russian forces managed to recapture an entire province, which they previously claimed to annex. And so this could be one of the objectives for
maybe I shouldn't have
Russian effort in
sold that fucking meal.
A Ukrainian intelligence official reported that Russian forces lack the necessary operational reserves to conduct simultaneous offensive efforts in more than one direction in Ukraine. Is that an accurate assessment?
We agree with that assessment, and that's been the Institute's assessment really since the last time we've seen the Russians attempt to do simultaneous offensive operations. We've not seen the Russian military have the strength to advance on multiple areas of advance ever since the first attempt to capture Kiev back in early 2022. Since then, the Russian military has had bandwidth constraints, so they've only been able to really prioritize offensive operations in one concerted area at a time, which is quite an achievement on the behalf of the Ukrainians. And we've not collected any evidence that has led us to change our assessment about Russian capabilities.
Firewood, one sec.
Short term.
Given that we don't expect Russia to conduct a full-scale mobilization until after the presidential elections, is this how we are going to see the Russian strategy continue with no major push on more than one front until after the presidential elections? And how likely is it that that will happen after that? Yeah.
So this is a really great question because could assume that the Russians would actually practice best practice, military practice, and know their constraints and operate based on those constraints. But unfortunately for the Russians...
Tämä ei ole tavallista salaattia. Se on Järvikylän uutuus. Suomalaiset nuoret lehdet suoraan pussista lautaselle.
Kun on aika palata takaisin, haluamme mahdollistaa sen, että voit keskittyä siihen, mikä on tärkeää. Luodaan työyhteisö.
Russians, unfortunately for the Ukrainians, the opposite has been true. We've seen time and time again the Russians fail to learn from their mistakes, stretch themselves too thin, and attempt to conduct simultaneous operations when really they don't actually have the means to be able to do it effectively. Of course, as we all know, if we're watching the fighting in Avdiivka and Donetsk Oblast, the Russians have been conducting major attacks against that particular.
I'm really fucking tired. I woke up at 5 a.m.
town and slash city since October. There's a viral piece of combat footage that just came out the other day of an American Bradley beating
blood
up a
for my
Russian
blood
T-90
test,
tank
and
in the
I had an
Avdiivka area.
EKG
So
done.
the Russians are still conducting operations there. It's unclear to me that the Russians actually have the force necessary to be able to simultaneously attack in Luhansk Oblast and Avdiivka. However, currently it appears that they are setting up to do exactly that thing. And of course, if they're unable to do one, then they try to do both, then they're more likely to fail at both.
So what will the cost be to Russia if they try to do both?
If they attempt to do both, they might be able to brute force some tactical gains at tremendous loss of equipment and loss of human life.
They don't care. Okay. I ain't killing anybody with this gun. Jesus. Is that a player or? I think it's a scav. It's a scav. Is it player or AI? And if it's AI, is it going for whatever we're shooting? And where did it disappear to? The fuck? There he is. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Oh, come on. Aw. Damn it. Can I get up on top like I used to this way? Oh, yes. It does still let me. I thought it didn't let me anymore. One of my old sneaky spots. I've been hearing that fucking gun over that way like fucking for a while now. Okay, that's inside. I am kinda tired. That fucking burger I had in town was fucking delicious. Yeah, I hear you, man. You know what? Let's just do something funny. Davai, davai, davai. It's still a little bright, isn't it? Mucho brighto. Mucho brillito. Mucho luz. Too much. Too muchy, too muchy. Oh, what? What are you barking about? It's okay. Ro? Are you telling me a PMC is coming, Tara? Whoa, whoa. You're being so weird. Tara, okay? What's the matter? You've been doing that a couple times now. For a couple of days. Just lying in bed and all of a sudden barking? Whoa. You shouldn't be bored. We woke up early. We trekked to the car. We trekked home. You waited in the car while I was getting my blood work done. You had nanna. You had water. Tara okay, mor? Tara kilti tyttö. We done? We done? No? I hope she's not like trying to tell me she's sick or some shit. Or maybe she's hearing something that I can't hear. That sounded like a fight. It still sounds like a fight. Somebody's gonna come. And then I'm gonna die. Somebody gonna come and then I'm gonna die. I wonder, can you jump on those bags and then on top? Because you can't get that back way up top anymore. Or using the fucking boxes between the two tents.
That was my favorite place.
Ну чё, начало дня уже неплохое. И хуй мой танцевал чечетку, вбивая янь в ноги инь. Остынь, остынь. Блядь, берцачими! Давай мочи их! Нехороший вы, блядь, человек. Ах ты ебагла! Ах ты хер ебучий! Хуярь медведя! Ща к барыгам, а потом по бабам. На, блядь, жри, сука! О, ништяк, шкура цела, уже неплохо. Левый коронный, правый похоронный. Может, ну нахрен? Да ладно, шучу я, шучу, погнали. Опачки. Нормас, нормас. Охуенно сейчас поживимся. Нормально, нормально, живем, пацаны.
Can I hit that window without ADS?
Гоп-стоп, мы подошли из-за угла.
The fuck is going on there?
Да они вообще все молодцы, пидоры.
Can I hit it? Nope. Well, did somebody just throw a flash grenade in there? It looked like it. Kind of funny if they threw it because of me shooting out windows. Now he's scared to death that there's somebody next to him and he's not going to move.
Нет никого. Особенно вон тот паренек в белом, красава, блядь.
No PMC gonna come here? Nah. Wow, dry noodles. That's kind of nuts. Wait, you can wear glasses with that? That's over at Emercom. On the other side of the building. Pretty sure. At the very least, it's in that field over there. That's the boss? I woke up way too early. We're waiting. This was the plan for this scav raid. I'm gonna stick to my plan.
Ну и чё тут за хуйня?
Come on, somebody's gonna come over here to kill those AI scavs. We got 4, 8, 12. Nobody's coming to Scav Road? I mean, I know nobody's been here because I picked up the loot. Come on. Somebody's got to come to Scav Road. Somebody's got to kill scavs on interchange. That guy looks kitted. He had 2 guns. Oh shit, there we go. Is that a scav or a PMC? Damn. I wonder if I hit him once. I mean, these scavs didn't react. Although that one didn't aggro on him. And he didn't react on me probably because I didn't hit him. So I actually think that was probably a player scav. Damn it, now he's gonna pick up all the loot over there. Ooh. Nope. That's our kitted buddy. Eh. We got some loot. Do you see something? Who'd he just wiggle to? Oh, to him. What would be dope is if you could get up there. I would love to get up there. Hello.
Ну что, неплохой день, господа.
Is he looking for me? He's like, what the fuck?
Это что за хрень?
Eh. No box. Yeah, I didn't. Pardon me. Hiccup, hiccup, hiccup. We got so much snow. It was a fucking pain in the ass walking across the ice. And the snow no good for ice. Are these the batteries I need? No. Need the rechargeable batteries. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go.
Which of course is not particularly a particularly effective way of waging the war. So the Russians might be able to generate some
Be right back.
informational
I
gains,
gotta
but
take a
at
piss.
a certainly higher price than they normally should have paid. And of course, that systematic attrition of the Russian military is good for the Ukrainians, as it further opens the prospects for the Ukrainians to be able to still win this war when the Russians are waging it poorly.
And how well prepared is Ukraine to defend itself and push back against a new Russian offensive?
That's a great question. As you know, the Institute does not study Ukrainian capabilities in the same depth at which we collect and study on the Russians. We don't collect on our allies. So we don't have any concrete indicators. However, if past performance is any indication, I would say I would expect the Ukrainians to be able to successfully defend these Russian attacks. They did the same in winter 2023 at this same time. Avdiivka still has not fallen. The Ukrainians obviously are also warning about this anticipated attack, so they are not going to be surprised when the Russians conduct it.
Quite a big win for Ukraine in recent days has been the shooting down of this A-50 long-range surveillance aircraft over the Sea of Azov and the damaging of the IL-22 airborne command post aircraft. What does that do to Russian capabilities?
Yeah, it degrades Russian capabilities in the air domain because those aircraft might have been helping survey Ukrainian air objects. They could also be helping with.
I forgot I had good
and it's a
Finnish
high value
licorice
asset.
rope.
The Russians only had a handful of such A-50 planes. Ukrainian
Ooh
officials
la
alleged the
la!
Russians only
I
had
forgot
about,
I had
correctly,
6 meters
but
of this
six
stuff.
of them. So losing one can constitute, up to 20% of the loss of that sort of high-end capability. It will degrade their overall effectiveness, and it makes me curious whether or not the Ukrainians specifically targeted that airframe right as the Ukrainians are preparing to, in the near future, deploy F-16s. Perhaps they want to degrade the Russians' ability to surveil the airspace as the Ukrainians seek to employ that system in the near future.
And will the impact be on aviation operations solely, or will it have any particular impact on the ground?
It can also have effects on the ground. Those stations, those systems are capable of collecting on a variety of Ukrainian indicators, a variety of Ukrainian forces, and of course, because it's such a rare asset, it's quite a big blow for the Russians across multiple domains. But more importantly, arguably, than the actual airframe itself are the operators, the crew that was inside the plane. I mean, when you have those radio operators, they are specially trained technicians, specially trained professionals, of which there are a limited number. And so in many ways, losing the personnel who know how to read the radar signals, operate that specialized machinery, that's a really big loss for the Russian military. And of course, you need those guys to train the next guys. So honestly, in a lot of ways, losing the men was just
taking down that mainstay is definitely preparing
good on Zelensky's promise
the
to take
air
war
for
to Russia, with reported drone attacks in Voronezh and also in Belgorod. The latter has reignited Russian nationalists to call for this major offensive in Kharkiv to create
now who's selling that for $2 million?
Russia. What do you make of the strikes at the moment that are being conducted on Kharkiv? Are they retaliatory, or are they preparations for something bigger?
They're likely retaliatory. A lot of the strikes that we've documented in Kharkiv have been against confirmed civilian targets, such as a prominent hotel where a lot of international journalists had been previously staying, a gynecology hospital, gynecology clinic, a variety of targets that would not make any substantial difference to support a military operation. We also don't assess that the Russians have sufficient forces in the Belgorod area to be able to wage an effective campaign against Kharkiv Oblast. Any sort of offensive in that area of the theater would likely be targeting the much weaker Luhansk Oblast sector, where again there's only about 12 villages that prevent the Russians from having the whole province. We think that if the Russians do indeed conduct any kind of a major attack into Kharkiv Oblast, that would likely be a feint, potentially designed to pull away some strained Ukrainian defenders away from what would be the main area of attack for the Russian forces. But for the time being, Kharkiv seems to be relatively safe.
What about the targeting by Ukraine of Voronezh, where there is a military airbase?
Yeah, the Russians, of course, have a tremendous number of forces that they've arrayed within Russia across the border, including in Voronezh and Belgorod. You have a lot of permanent bases and military infrastructure that is in Voronezh. And the Ukrainians rightfully seek to degrade those and destroy them because as the border of the current conflict, the front line has in many cases become the international border, and the staging areas have become within Russia itself. The Ukrainians should strike those, and the Ukrainians are developing capabilities to strike those objects and have struck those objects. I anticipate to see those sort of strikes continue, especially as the Ukrainians are developing their own homegrown indigenous capabilities for long-range strikes. The Ukrainians, for example, are developing and are currently producing drones, kamikaze drones, with a range of up to 1,000 kilometers.
Wow.
Ukrainian volunteers are also working on
Don't
creating their own
tell the Russians
drones that are jet propelled, that they can mass produce in high quantity to overwhelm Russian air defenses. And the Ukrainians have made it clear that their intent is to take the war to Russia, to strike Russian military objects within Russian territory in order to help the Ukrainians liberate the territory at the front in Ukraine.
I
How
mean, you
important
have
a capability do you think that would be in the war for Ukraine?
As the battle space compresses, as we've watched over the last 2 years of conflict, the staging areas are going to go further and further out and farther away. So during the Battle of Kiev, the staging areas in Belarus and in northern parts of Ukraine, those were closer, and the Ukrainians were able to strike those. But of course, when the Ukrainians went to go fight into Kharkiv in last September, those staging areas were in northern and eastern Kharkiv, and the Ukrainians could strike those. But now, if you look at the current front line, the space where the Russians are able to have all of their logistics, it's compressed, and it's gone deeper into Russia itself. And so it's increasingly important that the Ukrainians be able to actually strike objects within Russia proper. And I expect that if the Ukrainians are successful in driving the Russians further out of Ukrainian territory, then the necessary areas that the Ukrainians will have to target will increasingly include Russian territory. And of course, the Russians will seek to exploit this. The Russians will have claimed and will continue to claim that they find completely unacceptable any kind of strike.
Me Pop-Pankissa olemme aidosti kiinnostuneita siitä, miten sinulla menee.
Against Russian territory. They will warn that they will use nuclear weapons, but of course, within the norms means of
I can't help
armed conflict,
duty
the
anymore.
Ukrainians do have the right to strike legitimate military
On
targets
ground zero.
within Russian territory.
Shit.
Interesting that you say this is going to be a development. How much of that do you think we're going to see of those kind of strikes increasing inside Russia in the approach to the election? And what effect do you think that might have in terms of the public?
I don't have a good read on how many of these long-range precision strike assets the Ukrainians currently have in the pocket. I know they're currently developing them, and it's unclear to me when the Ukrainians are going to decide to employ them, and how they're going to employ them. They might use them in small quantities to try to poke and probe Russian air defenses to learn about how to effectively defeat them, or the Ukrainians may decide to go out and conduct large mass attacks to just straight up overwhelm them. And it's unclear to me which tactic they're going to pick. But it is going to become important, but depending on the development timeline, it's unclear to me if they'll do it before or after the elections.
And just want to ask you about the long-form study that you're working on. You mentioned Belarus just a moment ago. It's about Russia's efforts to effectively annex Belarus. Can you tell us a bit more?
Absolutely. So I think what the Russians have done in Belarus is quite nefarious, and it's been underreported and underobserved for the last 3 years because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But we know that the Kremlin has a strategic objective to regain control over Belarus, but it's not chosen to do so with overt military force, but rather through a much more insidious campaign of what they call political, military, cultural, economic integration. Russia and Belarus have a supernatural national organization called the so-called Union State. And this is a structure that was created on paper in a 1999 treaty. And essentially, it is a federal structure that stipulates the fusion of the integration of Belarus and Russia into one federalized entity, complete with its unitary executive body, a unitary legislature, and a unitary judiciary. Over the last 3 years, the Kremlin has made substantial gains in trying to solidify this integration, to coerce the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, into accepting Russian terms. And the Russians have successfully substantially increased their military footprint in Belarus. 5 years ago, the Russians did not have freedom of movement within Belarus. Lukashenko was always a staunch advocate of Belarusian sovereignty. He still is, but he's actually on the back foot now. But now the Russians have free reign in Belarus. The Russians have, of course, deployed tactical nuclear weapons to Belarus. They conduct a lot of training in Belarus. And Belarus, just by nature of its geography, is extremely important for the NATO alliance and NATO's eastern flank because of that strategic Suwalki corridor between the Russian exclave of Kaliningrad,
So lucky
Belarus,
it's
and where
Suwalki.
Lithuania
And it's
connects
not a
with
corridor,
Poland.
it's a
Now
gap.
that the Russians have
Suwalki
successfully
gap.
achieved freedom
You
of movement
subject
within
matter
Belarus
expert.
and are working slowly, but quite effectively at de facto making Belarus become a Western government of Russia. The prospects for Belarusian sovereignty are increasingly becoming quite dim. And unfortunately, we all remember the 2020 protests when the brave Belarusian opposition decided to rise up against Lukashenko and in order to restore legitimate democracy in Belarus. And unfortunately, their prospects, if the Kremlin is successful in annexing it, the prospects of any free and fair democracy in Belarus are quite blight.
And what is the focus exactly of your study? Are you trying to work out what the consequences will be for NATO, or is it more about how we got to where we are?
My paper studies and assesses the Russian objectives for their integration efforts, where they seek to take the integration. What does the Kremlin's desired end state look like? I then assess the current progress that the Kremlin has made, where the different political, military, and economic integration lines of effort stands, sort of in terms of what they've gotten, what they seek to achieve, and then I lay out some of the implications for NATO. And the bottom line is that the Russians have made tremendous gains in Belarus, and it requires a fundamental rethink in NATO's defense requirements for deterring a Russian attack on NATO's eastern flank, and if necessary, what it would take to defeat a Russian attack on NATO's eastern flank.
It's necessary. What do you mean if necessary? If they
Ukraine.
attack,
Can you
it's
explain
fucking
what's happening in the
necessary to
Baltics
defeat
in
that
particular,
attack.
Latvia?
Sure. We've seen the Russians and Russian President Vladimir Putin in particular in recent days intensify rhetoric about supposed mistreatment from Baltic countries against Russian ethnic or
They've been
Russian-speaking
saying that in
minorities
Finland
within those
about
countries.
Finland too.
And of course, this is very important because Putin has specifically used these arguments in order to manufacture his justifications for war against many states in the former Soviet space. It happened in 2008 with Georgia. This was, of course, the crux of his argument about why the Russians had to intervene in Ukraine in 2014 and then again in 2022. And Putin has constantly tried to trivialize the sovereignty of the Baltic states. He refers to those lands as essentially part of Russia's historical lands or as part of the place
Putin
where
can
there are
go fuck
Russian
himself,
comrades
seriously.
abroad that need protecting. And he's explicitly stated about how the former Russian Empire, the former Soviet Union, this is all part of the so-called Russian world, the Ruski Mir. He gave a really big speech late last year
Mir is
outlining
not world,
his
it's
concept of
peace.
Russian identity, which actually transcends being ethnically Russian. It has to do whether or not you feel a kindred spirit to the Soviet Union or the Russian Empire. You live on these territories that the Russians used to control. So we've seen no specific indicators that the Russians have the capacity now to wage war against the Baltic states, or that there's any indication that they seek to do so in the immediate future.
All these
But it's very
communist
alarming
lovers
to see
and
the
whatnot,
Russians
how do they
spin
explain
up
that
these
during the
information
Cold War,
operations that they've
people
used
were
to then later
risking
attack
their
other states?
life
And of course,
to cross the
such a
Berlin
process is
Wall to
always
the west?
a long run. The Kremlin began running its information operations about ethnic
like
Russians
these fucking
in
kids
Ukraine
today, they got no
in the
fucking
2000s,
clue.
only to then conduct their first attack in 2014. So it's
no
quite alarming.
Fucking clue.
Where else do you see them looking to spin these ethnic Russian protection messages?
Yeah. Part of the former Soviet Union and the former Russian Empire is also, of course, Central Asia. In recent days, we've seen Russian nationalists increasingly complain about how Kazakhstan has been attempting to, in the Russian framing, destroy its own previous self-identity by reasserting the prominence of the Kazakh language as opposed to the Russian language. There have been recent efforts to try to rename, I think, bus stops and railroad stations within Kazakhstan
And
to Kazakh
Putin
language
uses
names
that
as
shit
opposed to
as an
historic
excuse.
colonial Russian names.
The bus stops are in Kazakh, not in Russian. We must invade.
That. Kyrgyzstan, another Central Asian state, they recently abandoned Russian Soviet-style hard science mathematics textbooks, and then they instead adopted.
Now where are we? Okay. We're at this spawn. Fuck. It is close to my objective, though. Objectives are that way. Gotta hit the 3 buildings in the swamp area. Like, that's right over there. It's right near the road, near the tunnel extract. The motherfucker better be dead. Oh shit. How the fuck did that guy not die? Well, I got one of them. Hopefully he was a PMC USEC. That would close out one task. It's okay. All that kit was fucking picked up kit. And my fucking stash is so full I need to use kit. Well. If I had had a scope, man. But one of them died. I hope dude saves his friend's shit and leaves my shit alone. Well. Damn. When he started shooting at me, I shouldn't have fucking turned around and shit. I should have fucking ducked behind that tree. Or gone straight prone and kept fucking shooting him.
And Russian nationalists also saw that as an anathema as well. So the Russian claims
of course it was a duo.
Pertain not only to Eastern Europe, but to the previously Russian-occupied areas of Central Asia as well.
And just to look at the war in Ukraine, what are you expecting in the coming months? Is it about I know that the Institute for the War is now focusing very much on as well.
No, well,
Ukraine's,
that was the friend.
Efforts to build its industrial base and develop that.
My survival
is
rate's
it about the
than
race
his,
to
so
resupply and keep the supplies of weapons coming for as long as possible and make it very sustainable for Ukraine?
Yeah, I think the Ukrainians
Bear, god damn it!
Now they're waging a long war, and that this war will likely continue for many more years. They understand that their Achilles heel currently is the propensity for the Western coalition to be prepared to continue supporting Ukraine in the long run. Of course, there's a giant policy debate right now in Washington about.
And in the head, I had a
funding and supporting security systems for Ukraine. And even if we do pass the current spending bill, which is up for consideration, it's unclear that the United States will do so next year, the year after that, and so on and so forth. So the Ukrainians have a strategy, and their strategy is predicated on reinvigorating and building out Ukraine's domestic capability to produce weapons at scale. All manner weapons, artillery, ammunition,
and Ukraine used to make all the best Soviet
guns,
equipment too.
Small arms, body armor, food rations, etc. The Ukrainians are building this up within the physical territory of Ukraine, but they are also, quite importantly, building up through joint production cooperation agreements a defense industrial base based within NATO states in Central and Eastern Europe. Poland, Germany, Czechia, and others are currently engaged in joint production of weapon systems with the Ukrainians. And of course, this is very, very important because we see now the Europeans really stepping up and getting serious about European defense. It's almost as if Russia's invasion of Ukraine has been a wake-up call for Europe.
No shit, almost like it's been a wake-up call. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course it's been a fucking wake-up call. This guy fucking
of actually
is trying to sound
meeting the
smart
demands of
too
a
much.
high-intensity war against the Russians. And of course, rebooting and restarting a defense industrial base, it's not something you can do on a short timeline. This is a process that takes months and years to fully spin up. So it's quite good that the Europeans, and including the Ukrainians, are doing this. And of course, as these capabilities and as this production ramps up over the coming years, that will alleviate the defense requirement on Ukraine for it to go to the United States and the UK and others to fund the lion's share of its own defense, which will, of course, off-ramp that and hopefully make Ukraine's long-term defense more sustainable. But of course, as the Ukrainians spin this up, it does require that initial high amount of investment to help kickstart it.
You could go one step further on Europe and its capability to continue supporting Ukraine with its supplies and say it's actually cleared out its military store cupboards. Russia, having spent the last 2 years developing a war economy and a conscripted population.
That's a good fucking point. We're kind of
Forum, the chair of NATO's military committee, Robert Bauer, said NATO's military NATO
we need to
transformation.
we need
anything can happen.
to
The
up our
tectonic plates
industrial
of power
capacity
shifting.
for sure.
What are you going to be looking for in your future analysis in that light?
Yeah, that's a very interesting statement. I think what we're going to be seeing is, de facto, the war that the Russians are waging against Ukraine. It's not one state against another state. It's increasingly becoming a coalition of dictatorships: North Korea, China, Iran, Russia, waging a war against the coalition of the free democracies with Ukraine, and the United States, and Europe. It's unclear to see exactly how these coalitions are going to develop, but I expect to see the Russo-Iranian Sino-alliance becoming more closely aligned. Of course, the Chinese have a keen eye on what's happening in Taiwan. The Iranians are waging a major proxy war in the Middle East right now that has now transcended the conflict that was happening in just Israel and Gaza. Now, of course, what's happening in Yemen. So these things are all connected, and these wars, I think, have exposed how unprepared the Western coalition is to fight against, to fight and deter and defeat these authoritarian threats. So we're heading into uncharted waters, and yeah, I agree. Anything can change.
George Barros, good to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Kate. Always a pleasure.
You've been watching Frontline for Times Radio with me, Kate Chabot. My thanks to our producers today, Louis Sykes and Morgan Burdick, and for you for watching. If you'd like to support us, you can subscribe now, or you can listen to Times Radio for the latest news and in-depth analysis, or go to thetimes.co.uk. For now, though, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Concern in the 60s and onwards, the differentials between all but the very youngest age groups are not particularly dramatic. One of those obviously looks far more stable and sustainable over the long term than the other, with America's pyramid looking kind of like a cupcake, and Korea looking like a country well on its way to becoming a retirement community that happens to have a country. But while people love the visual of the population pyramid, however, I would sound one note of caution. Namely, they don't tell the whole story. Look at the Australian population pyramid, for example, and you might think you're seeing a country that will experience population decline, as decades in the future, the outnumbered cohort of Generation Z find themselves increasingly under the rule of that bulge of millennials above them. Instead, the Australian Bureau of Statistics Series B population projections, which are the middling ones, have Australia crossing the 40 million population mark before 2060, overtaking present-day California. The core driver in that case is net overseas migration. If you have a country that people want to move to, then immigration becomes a potential source of population growth. And for various reasons, including the obviously economic, when countries are setting their immigration policies, they often tend to focus on letting in lots of fit, healthy, young, working-age people, not a bunch of retirees about to pass straight into the pension program. And it's why I think it's fair to say that for a lot of countries, you can probably say that demographics is destiny, but only if you follow up by saying that policy is demographics. For a country without significant migration, however, things might be more set in stone. And that pretty much describes the situation in the Republic of Korea, where the demographic drop-off is far more extreme than what we've seen in Russia and Ukraine.
No,
The ROK maintains for its size a very large, partially...
Un momento.
Aviation enthusiasts about the...
Siis pitääks arpoja ostaessa
Ei.
tunnistautua?
Turpaki.
Ask most aviation enthusiasts about the Soviet Atoll missile, and they'll likely tell you the same things. It is a copy of the A-9B Sidewinder. Most of us also know that the original missile that was copied by the Soviets was fired by a Taiwanese F-86 Sabre in the Taiwan Straits. It hit the MiG-17 it was targeting, but the warhead failed to detonate. These things are both true. But there's more to the atoll than just a story of fortunate acquisition and smart reverse engineering. Although it started as a very close copy of the Sidewinder, it was not exactly the same.
25
and,
meters?
like the
Fuck
Sidewinder,
you.
it developed along its own path. Unlike the Sidewinder, that development path was terminated as the Soviet Union replaced it with an indigenous design to fit with other aspects of their tactical aviation concept. I believe that better understanding the atoll is important if we're to understand the history of air-to-air combat in the 1960s and 1970s. So here we go. As I mentioned, the Sidewinder, a product of the Naval Air Weapons Station at China Lake, had its first taste of active service in the Second Taiwan Straits Crisis of 1958.
What do I need?
Mainland Chinese forces were equipped with MiG-17s, which were faster than the ROKAF's F-86 Sabres and had a higher service ceiling. The PLA aircraft could cruise above their opponents with impunity and choose the best moment to dive down and attack. In a crash program called Black Magic, ROKAF's Sabres were modified to fire the Sidewinder, and 100 rounds were supplied. Their first use came on the 24th of September 1958. 4 Sabres were flying top cover for an RF-84 on a reconnaissance mission near Wenzhou Bay when the MiGs appeared. One of the F-86s got a tone on a MiG flying high above him and fired a Sidewinder. In the picture you can see its contrail as it homed on the MiG-17.
Aww.
By the end of the day, 4 MiGs had been downed in similar circumstances. But on the 28th of September, another MiG was hit by a Sidewinder, the warhead of which did not detonate. Somehow, the pilot managed to bring the fighter home with a 3-meter-long missile lodged inside. It was transferred to the Soviet Union. It is worth saying that the exact origins of the first AIM-9 to fall into Soviet hands have been disputed in recent years. The eminent expert on Soviet aircraft, Yefim Gordon, has previously stated that the weapon actually came from a Sabre that crashed on Chinese soil. I suspect that's a rumour related to the actual incident involving the MiG-17, but you never know. There's also a strong suggestion that detailed schematics for the Sidewinder were directly supplied to the Soviets via a spy in the Swedish Air Force. That may be the case, but the Swedes didn't start manufacturing and deploying their RB-24B license-produced Sidewinders until the early 1960s. So it seems unlikely to have played a role in the initial design of the atoll. Similarly, it's rumoured that a KGB and Polish spy double act stole a complete AIM-9D from Neuberg Air Force Base in October 1967. It's a pretty outlandish story in which they cart the 3-metre-long 70-kilogram missile down the runway in a wheelbarrow and transport it out in a car hidden in a carpet. The missile was then exported via parcel mail to Moscow. It's a great story. If it happened, then again it was a decade after the first weapon was acquired in 1958. That missile found its way to the Bisnevat OKB. Matus Ruvimovich Bisnevat had originally been an aircraft designer. His career started in the Tyrov OKB based in Kiev. In the late 1930s, he was allowed to form his own OKB focused on designing and building high-speed aircraft. His method tended to be to cram the largest possible engine into the smallest possible fuselage, a set of skills that would serve him in good stead for later missile design. Although none of his designs saw production, they were sufficiently well regarded by the Council of Ministers that they assigned him his own production plant in 1948. His task was to create unmanned homing aerial vehicles in the surface-to-surface and air-to-surface classes. You and I would call these missiles. This effort would first lead to the B-5 rocket-propelled manned experimental aircraft.
I don't know, I'm feeling really fucking
In
tired. I might have to
1954,
stop after
Bisnevat's
this
focus was altered again. Now
I need to make
OKB-4
dinner
was to
too.
concentrate
Well,
on
it's only
air-to-air
3:45, but I did wake up at 5
Progress
a.m.
was slow until they came into possession of the Taiwan Straits Sidewinder. It was an intelligence windfall.
We'll see.
OKB-4 was given the task of reverse engineering it. The chief project engineer later described it as being like a university offering a course in missile construction technology, which has upgraded our engineering education and updated our approach to production of future missiles. Although easier than imagining something from scratch, reverse engineering is not actually all that easy. One has to painstakingly measure every single component and try and glean what the designers were thinking when
I
they
mean,
connected
measuring
it
is
together
not
just
fucking
so.
hard.
Further complexity is created by the standards in the industrial bases of the two countries concerned. Basic things like the sizes of machine tools can create all sorts of problems. Even so, in this case, work progressed very fast. By early 1959, the first
that was
Soviet
quick.
copies of the Sidewinder were ready for flight tests.
I didn't even
simple
get
but
to really
brilliant-
start my cigarette. Great. Oh wow, we're right here. Fuck. I need my map up. That's north. This should be one of them. Oh no, I have the light on. That's one of them. Why am I heavy? Not this one. Gotta be that one. does it? I'm a little confused. No, that's the town already. And it does have to be this one. Fuck you. It's gotta be this one. So I thought, bitch. Now the other one should be right over there. Fuck me. Sorry, I'm smoking my cigarette. I think that task is done, though, now. Oh, no. I need to exfil still. So we do need to be careful. We need to be careful! We need to exfil still. Is it still customs automatic? Yes. Dope. Path to Lighthouse. I don't know where that is. Railway Bridge. Don't know where that is. Smuggler's Path. Don't know where that is. And that's co-op anyway. Pier Boat. I know where that... Did I just hear footsteps? This map has changed so much since I last played. I didn't hear footsteps. It was all in my head. How much does this give me? 35? Not yet. Too much. I'd waste it. I don't like this area at all. Too many windows and shit. I haven't done any sniping yet since I started playing. Not that I'm any good at it, but still, haven't done any yet. And for that bolt action 25 meter, I should use that Mosin short. Okay, now why did that just happen? No, Cloud did not go in front of the moon. So why does the fucking lighting change like that randomly? Why? Is there a new wall? Is that a wall? Or is that the ocean? Wait a second, what the fuck? No, that's the ocean. Why does it look like a wall? Making so much noise because I'm so overweight. Why am I so overweight though? I think that's a power plant. Or gas. Kind of want to get on Radar Dome. Or should I just get the fuck out and get that task done? I don't know. You tell me. Exfil get the task done or try and find somebody to shoot. I have a feeling somebody will find me. I think that's somebody killing scabs at gas stations or power plants. I used to call this spine. This little rock thing, like the spine of shoreline. Oh, they've changed this up too, though. Or not. It just seems shorter. Or this is the spine. Starting now. Yeah. I do need 3 pistol kills. I need 8 grenade kills, but I don't have a grenade with me. I really don't like being overweight and this loud. I really don't like being overweight and this loud. That almost looked like a dude for a second from the corner of my eye. What, you can't get over that little bump? Some fucking super trained PMC you are. Fucking airplane. Bum 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 bum. The Ukrainians shooting down that one at the beginning of the invasion full of paratroopers. That must have fucking hurt. Yeah, it wouldn't even reach. Well, we might just take the task completion. I have too many open tasks right now. God, I keep seeing shit out of the corner of my eye. Or thinking I see shit from the corner of my eye. I'm fucking exhausted though, man. I woke up at 5 a.m. I had to fast because of the blood work. I had the EKG done. The nurse said she didn't see anything like obvious, but that the doctor will look at it. Sniper scab up. I don't see no sniper scab. It is kind. Man, I should have taken that fucking envy. I have 3 night vision scopes. I should have taken that. Why didn't I take one of those? Why didn't I take one of those? Why? Why? Pooper. Should I look at pier? Which way do I want to cross? I think I don't want to go on the road. Okay, now we can eat that. Ooh, there's scabies there. That should mean there's no PMC there. I should have done this first. Oh shit. I just killed him. Jump. Oh, I didn't bring another mag. I'm dumb. Or a clip. Would a pistol be a clip? No, it's still a magazine. Please, Duke. Now there was, yes, this is what I wanted. I still remembered after 3 years. Oh, that stupid vision thing. Now Now, do I peek fucking pier? Should I go on lighthouse? I mean, on that fucking tower thing over there. How deep are we in this raid? 27 minutes? But god damn it, I have... do I... Don't see no scabbies. And the sun is coming up. Actually, the tower is not a good place now if the sun is coming up, because I'll be illuminated from behind. Illuminated, lel. What the fuck is that? Okay, I thought it was something that somebody had dropped. But it was a leaf thing. This map has changed. And they've given more cover for sniping from here. Uh-oh. He died. That's a pistol kill. I needed a pistol kill. I mean, I need 3. That's 1. Now, do we go loot him? I think he's alone. I'm pretty sure he's alone. I think I'm gonna loot him. Uh-oh. He died. I really need... If I'm gonna loot him, though, I need to do it quick. Before somebody comes to check all that noise. Hello, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I hope he was a USEC. No, fucking bear again! I need 1 more fucking USEC. Oh, he was wearing a fucking... that vest? No wonder he died. Level 7, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm a dickhead. Oh, wait, what? Yeah. Nope, nope, nope. How did that dude not hear me making noise on the rock? I didn't notice. No, he didn't. Did he have headset? I didn't even fucking notice. fuck, okay. Open area, run! Run! Open area, run! Cover. Run! Cover. This is my third time on shoreline, or fourth. Third, fourth, third, fourth. Okay, you know what? Me gonna be penis. Oh, come on. Step over the fucking thing. For a well-trained fucking PMC, supposedly, this motherfucker cannot step over branches and shit to save his fucking life. Oh my god, the airdrop's over there. Ah! Did it just stop smoking? I don't see no more red smoke coming off it. Or is it just the background is too red? Fuck! Do I go for the fucking airdrop or not? I don't need it. And the airdrops haven't even been all that lately. You have no laser or foregrip. Yep, nope. Poor guy, level 7. Wow, lolio. Sorry, man. Okay, that's up there. Either he was killing scav on this road or at customs, or where the fuck was that shot? There's could have been on customs road over there. I'm definitely heavy now, and no matter how much I eat or drink now, I ain't gonna get any lighter. The distance on that pistol kill, I mean, not like he was close. What was that gunshot over there? Fuck it, just eat it. Pardon me. Pardon me. Pardon me. That's because of my herniated diaphragm. I guess my stomach was pushing up on my vagus nerve. See, I'm very hesitant to fucking push over there and have motherfucker hear me because I'm heavier than an elephant. Don't fuck. I hate. Don't. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I ain't really liking this. What was the name of this exfil again? I can't even fucking remember. There's so many new exfils too. Those tree stumps, they still fucking make my heart jump. Was that gunshot somebody one headshot on a scav on his way to exfil? That time it was my shadow that made my heart jump. Lel? I'm scared of my own shadow. Damn, I am fucking tired. I'm getting hungry again. That fucking burger after my lab work, after fucking fasting, was fucking delicious. But that was at like 9 o'clock. Wow, that was 6 hours ago already. No wonder I'm fucking hungry again. And I already know what I'm gonna make. Actually, I might make it tomorrow and just put a sausage in the oven and eat sausage and potato salad today. Because I'm tired and I'm kind of late, feeling lazy. Blah, 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 blah. I pay attention. I wouldn't mind fighting a scav over here. But there are no scav here. They have changed a shitload on this map. Oh my god, how are you supposed to get that? Come on. Give it to me, 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 fucker. Not this time. You could stop searching and just...
Ask most aviation enthusiasts.
Oh, fuck you, commercial. She's hot.
Which has upgraded our engineering education and updated our approach to production of future missiles. Although easier than imagining,
man, this loading takes for fucking ever.
Reverse engineering is not actually all that easy. One has to painstakingly measure every single component and try and glean what the designers were thinking when they connected it together just so. Further complexity is created by the standards in the industrial bases of the two countries concerned.
Oh, why did it pause?
Basic things like the sizes of machine tools can create all sorts of problems.
He had to be a fucking bear. I need one more fucking USEC for that fucking task.
By 1959, the first
Stop
Soviet
complaining.
copies of the Sidewinder were ready for flight
You
tests.
got a pistol kill. And you did the courtesy visit task. Stop complaining. Why so greedy?
To copy it. The result of their effort was such a close copy.
Nothing is ever good enough for me.
Components were interchangeable with the original Sidewinder, even if their capabilities were slightly different. Sometime at the end of 1959 or in early 1960, the timings are a bit murky, the missile was ready for series production. In Soviet service, it was known as R3S, with the S simply standing for Syrenia, meaning production in Russian. The name K-13 was also used interchangeably. I'm not sure why two designations were in circulation.
Yay!
It could be because of the split
Why
in
did
the
he
Soviet Air
move
Force
that
between
laser
the
down
PVO
and
the
then
BVS
take
branches.
the
If you know,
clash
please do leave me a
off
comment.
there? So there's clash,
R3S
and
is
the
as direct a copy of the
blue
AIM-9B
laser.
as Soviet industry
I love
could
this
manage.
build.
That means that it has the lead sulfide IR sensor and the actuators for the guidance canards.
Oh, because this is the IR illuminator one. I dropped it because it's not actually. I'm selling it.
Turbo generator that is itself spun up by gases bled from the rocket motor. Each of the canards has a detonator.
Why is there only one mag and a drum? What happened to the other one?
I guess that it gives the best contact area and means that a
fuck?
glancing hit would likely detonate the missile.
Because the dude didn't get
the
out.
aerodynamic forces in that position might
So
lead
where's
to
the
a
other
high
mag?
failure rate.
That's weird.
Behind the guidance section is the warhead.
That's weird.
The missile body in this area is deliberately
and
designed
why
to
do these
fragment
level
the
3
pattern so
armor
that it sprays a roughly
rigs
spherical volume with fragments?
look better than the
In the
higher
Sidewinder,
tier
these were
one?
able to penetrate
Like this is
3/8
one of
of
the
an inch
best
steel
looking
plate.
rigs
I imagine
there.
that the same is also true in the
And
ATOL.
the one I was wearing before I died.
The proximity fuse is next in line. It's an optical
What was I
unit
doing?
with a 29-foot range.
Oh yeah.
When it senses the target's heat signature, it triggers the explosives. If that fuse doesn't detect a target, then the missile is intended to self-destruct 26 seconds after launch. Right at the back is the rocket motor. It's a simple
Level
solid
28.
fuel motor with a fixed outlet designated DWP-80A. It burns for about 2 seconds.
Too
and
bad
delivers
we're now level
8,380
20, and I
pounds of
told
force.
Sudi I'd help him with
This
ground
is actually
zero,
a little bit less than the AIM-9B.
but now I can't.
The Thiokol Mark 17 motor of that missile
Yay!
delivers 8,800 pounds in a 2.2 second burn. The slightly less powerful motor delivers less speed than the AIM-9B.
Scav's survival is 60%. Kill death is only 0.29.
for the
Low.
Sidewinder. In both
Leave
cases,
rate
you have
4%. Only because you won't load me in and I have to fucking close the
Controlled
client.
flight time for the atoll was 21 seconds. After this point, there is no longer enough hot gas moving through the turbo generator, and the fins will no longer steer the weapon.
Oh, hello.
AIM-9B controlled flight is quoted at 20 seconds. This could be an approximation, or it may be that the atoll's motor burns for
How
slightly
long is
longer.
the timer on that?
We are talking about
1
very
day.
small margins
Well,
here.
1 day, 23. So 2 days.
The fixed trapezoidal rear fins are flat at the back, and they have a 45-degree angle at the front. Rollerons are recessed into the rear of these fins. When the missile is fired, the small notched wheels spin up to 70,000 RPM, generating a gyroscopic force on the fins that stabilizes the missile and prevents it from tumbling.
That's not a fin. I'm a fin. Well,
the rolleron was a
I must be
revolutionary
tired.
concept, an incredibly smart
I must
piece of
be
lateral
really
thinking
tired.
that enabled the Sidewinder to be much more compact and less complicated. OKB-4 succeeded in making a remarkably close copy of the missile. K-13 was marginally heavier, 162 pounds versus 155,
and
marginally slower, and, as it would prove, somewhat less reliable than the original. But it was delivered in 2 years. Its performance was a major step forward for the Soviet Air Forces.
That off. We're gonna take that off. And then we're gonna...
Herkullisia vaihtoehtoja pieniin, mutta tärkeisiin hetkiin. Maku elämälle. Enemmän pakasteita, vähemmän hävikkiä.
Please, ei raskaana.
Tetris.
Tarkkuus yli 99%. Clear Blue.
The first aircraft able to carry the atoll was the new MiG-21 Fishbed.
And
the second production variant could carry 2 K-13s on APU-13 launch rails under the wings. These pylons were a wholly indigenous design and connected to the atoll by 3 lugs on the missile body. Fitting the additional electronics to enable the pilot to employ the atoll meant dispensing with the left fuselage.
I think all dogs
have
No, we're not gonna.
This version of the MiG was designated MiG-21F-13. The 13 suffix refers to the K-13 missile. It was very widely exported and became infamous for its role in Vietnam. F-13s began to enter service with the VVS in late 1959. It became known to the West.
I checked my download speed earlier and it was like 110 meg. But my latency was like 200.
K-13 under its right wing. This was also the first time Western intelligence got a look at the atoll. Such was the confidence in the new missile that the next versions of the MiG-21 did away with their guns entirely. This was not a good idea, as the missiles were not especially reliable. R-3S was also carried by the MiG-23, which had 2 launch rails under the fixed-wing gloves and 2
I want to do a
the
scav
fuselage. Launching atolls off the fuselage pylons was actually prohibited, as the MiG-OKB found that the motor exhaust would cause flameouts. If you know anything about the flogger, then you know that flameouts were a really risky situation. It glided like a bag of bricks. The R-60 AFID was actually developed to get around this issue and provide a successor to the atoll. In 1965, a new version of the atoll emerged, just as the US Navy had developed the AIM-9C to give the F-8 Crusader an all-aspect missile capability. So OKB-4 modified the atoll to bring
There's that one corner in interchange with Office that I really like. It's my favorite route spot. I'll be right back. I got firewood in the fireplace.
With the R-3S. Everything forward of that was changed to incorporate a new semi-active radar homing head, actuator package, and the Yastreb radar proximity fuse. As you can see in this diagram, the resultant missile was considerably longer and rather pointier than the original K-13. It was 1 foot 10 3/4 inches longer than the infrared model. That's 58 centimeters in new money. The actuator package was more sophisticated than that on the original
I think actually
version.
that's the last wood
It
I'm going to
incorporated
add
3
to the
different
fireplace.
deflection programs designed for operation at 3
And that'll
different
leave me for
altitude
with
ranges
wood
and
for tomorrow
distances to
morning.
target.
I can get the kitchen
This
warm
served to
and
damp
not
down
be
the
freezing my
characteristic
ass off
winding course and
while
retained
making
a little more
breakfast.
energy. All of this was necessary mainly
Oh
because
man,
the closure speeds in a
I
level
really am
attack were
tired though.
significantly greater than in an attack in earth,
But
and
if I was
therefore
to
required
fucking
more
go to
precise
sleep
maneuver.
now, that would be a fucking disaster.
Behind the guidance section, the
Cause
new
that
less
would
red
mean
radar
I
proximity
would
fuse
wake
was
up
rather larger
at
than the crude
like
but reasonably effective infrared unit. The missile
6,
body
7,
therefore
8, 9,
bulges
10,
to create
11.
space
I'd
for the
wake up
antenna.
at midnight.
As a package, R3R was 10 kilograms heavier than R3S. It weighed more than 85 kilograms and was powered by the same motor. That would likely reduce maximum velocity down to around Mach 1.4. Fortunately, since the missile was intended to be fired head-on, maximum velocity likely mattered less as the weapon benefits from the closure speed of the two aircraft. R3R was compatible with the second version of the APU-13 launch rail. 2 or 4 could be carried on MiG-21s from the MiG-21S onwards. My understanding is that R3R was exclusively used by the Soviet Union and Warsaw Pact and wasn't exported widely if at all. I can't find any incidences of its use in action either. The original K-13, on the other hand, was very widely exported. I don't think the Soviet Union's Air Forces actually ever fired one in anger, but its customers fired thousands of them, with mixed success. The first recorded attempt at an atoll engagement was on the September 1st, 1965. An Indian MiG-21 attempted to engage a Pakistani
messages
F-86
to my
Sabre.
sister.
He approached from above and behind, fired 2 missiles, and watched them both dive into the ground behind the Sabre. This was a common issue with early air-to-air missiles. The envelope for a successful launch was very narrow. Ideally, you would approach a non-maneuvering target from 6 o'clock low with positive delta Mach and hope for the best. The VPAF demonstrated this technique in Vietnam. Guided by GCI, they would approach unseen from behind US aircraft, launch their missiles, and then dive for separation before the US air crews could respond. Even then, their success rate was low. The US calculated the probability of kill from ATOL as about 10%. However, this didn't factor in the many missiles that were fired without a US aviator observing the launch. After the war, the VPAF claimed that they shot down around 100 aircraft with ATOLs. The real number is probably somewhere between 40 and 50. That would make the probability of
Sorry,
K-13
messages
combination
that I had missed.
somewhere around 4 or 5%,
And because
which would tally with the Arab experience of that missile in the 1967 and 1973 wars.
me and my
Low hit
sister's
rate aside,
fucking
I believe
relationship
that the
is
VPAF scored
better
the
than
first
it has
ever
been
kill
in
with an
years.
ATOL. At 4:30 in the morning on the
So we have to upkeep that. 4, 5. We need grenades because we need grenade kills. What? This is a built-up PM. What? I've never seen it. PM is Makarov. Yeah, mythical Makarov. I've never seen a built-up PM before. Really? Interesting. And I heard the airplane. Fuck. It's impossible to find that fucking thing, though, unless you see where it drops. At least for me, it is. Where the I'm in fucking idea. This ain't anywhere near my favorite room. Oh, but I found fucking gas cans up the wazoo up in this middle area. Stay away from me. Uh-oh. Who is that? AI or player? I think player just because of where he was. Ooh, I need that for task.
Друган мой бывал точно.
Oh, Jesus, that was right here. You gonna go? Now, and he falls. No. Okay. None of these were. Fucking tired. Dope, I got reloads. Oh, it's a bed. I could go to sleep. Outside. That seems scav. Hey, wait, did I just get turned around? Kind of. I do want to... Oh, I totally got turned around. Fuck it, I'm going to where I want. I was going to go the back way, because it's safer. But fuck it! But fuck it. Lel. But fuck it. But fuck it. But fuck it. Lel. Lel. La 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 la. But fuck it. But fuck it. Wow, why so bright? Ah! That made me dizzy. Well, I should have gone upstairs because there's that one fucking room right there on the left that has that big wooden box, and I've gotten fuel there too. Not that I need fuel, I'd end up fucking selling it anyway. Hello, green tea. This place went out of business. I don't know, I'm probably gonna die around here. Ooh, wait, I need light bulbs. That's right, I do need light bulbs for my hideout. Ooh, and I need a CPU for that same task that I need that rechargeable battery. And there's another light bulb I need. Wires, too, for the same thing I need the light bulbs for. Oh, this is one of those smartphone these. Them newfangled smartphones. Scary, 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 scary. You want to see my favorite room to loot? Uh-oh. Ah, somebody looted it already. Or is that door always open? No, I don't think it is. Fuck, if somebody already looted my favorite place, I'm gonna be pissed. Somebody already looted it. This place has fucking bags and computers and like 3 weapons crates. Stop changing to fucking melee. Fuck! You bastard! Which means he's probably also gonna have hit those. Although I am picking up shit I need anyway. I don't need neither of those anymore. Has the cigarette fucking task been taken out of the game? Because I haven't gotten it from fucking therapist yet. And I'm still holding on to 3 Marlboros, Wilstons, and Luckies. So where the fuck is the freaking, whatchamacallit, the cigarette task? Poop. Ooh, hello, he didn't find this. How did you not find that? You're a dum-dum. That's right, I had to switch it to N because the B key is kind of iffy. Another sledgehammer. I've never had room for this. And I had to buy one to get the fucking wall. And I hate this sledgehammer in the game because Russian game, Barrel Street, Wagner, I don't like this. And it's called the Fierce Blow. Man, there's some fucking sick bastards. Did I just hear a... Oh, phone. That thing is huge, though. I don't... What are you barking about? She's been so weird. I need to go check if somebody just pulled up into the yard. Uno momento. It's nothing. It's okay. Oh, you're hungry again? No, you have dinner when I have dinner. She's borking. She's borking at a helicopter that's like kilometers away. That must have been the same thing because she was lying in bed and all of a sudden she started fucking barking. Must be the same fucking thing. I said at the time too that, I mean, she was probably hearing something that I can't hear. I know, I can see there's 4 of you in here, but I don't know if you guys can hear me. You gotta be able to hear me. The mic is not muted. I just looked. Cooper Scooper. I still need 2 flash drives. I haven't seen 1 flash drive since I started playing this game again. I've even hit that fucking campsite outside dorms on customs I don't know how many times. It says, at least in the Tarkov wiki, that's a flash drive spawn. I hope I have enough fruit. I should have enough room. Oh, I don't have armor. Good to know. Good to know. Good job, Crumpy. You didn't fucking check at the beginning to know how you're kitted out in case you need to defend yourself. That's okay. I thought that was a filter thingy, but it wasn't. There's no way this is searchable. Nope. Ooh, wait. I swear though, Tara ain't to be fucked with. She'll tear your face. Wow, that's closer. I think it is on the dock. I was thinking it was. Hello. Doesn't even matter. I got plenty of food. Tara, guilty to death. Good girl. Yeah, what was that? Hmm? Hey, Tara, what are you eating? What are you eating? Stop it. It's not even dinner time yet. What's wrong with you? You're about stressing me out, Tara. Is everything okay? Tara, Hoopy's in there? You want to jump in bed? Go on, it's okay. Tara, okay? Hmm? I still have fucking 5 meters of this good licorice rope that I had fucking forgot I had. Maybe we check the computer rooms over here. They've probably already been hit though. I think I'm going to keep this PM pistol. I never keep Makarovs, but I think I'm going to keep that one. I've never seen a built-up Makarov before. So we may keep it. Yeah, no point. Now, question is, the people that were fighting back here, are they still here? Don't need it. Hey, that was a little laggy. Does that mean there's somebody close? The other day, I was getting that yellow ping counter every time somebody was like near me. That's kind of a cheat. This is worth money though, but I hate that it's in this fucking game. And some sick shit. This, no, yeah, that's wrong pistol. No blindness is real in this game. Nine minutes. Oh, Was that the bag closing, or did I just hear somebody? Okay, this was wrong. I'm too fat. I think that might be what I was hearing. If this weapons crate is here, it's probably been hit. Or maybe not. Oh, I could. Nope, I need to do... Yeah, what am I doing? I'm a fucking idiot. Why am I being stupid? Man, my stash is gonna be full again. Or it already is, but even more. Fuck. I hate Tetris. I like the original Tetris. I don't like Tarkov Tetris. Oh, whoops. Run, Forrest, run! God damn, it's fucking bright. Oh, well, I did do a night raid, so that explains part of it. But seriously, man, snow blindness is definitely real in this fucking game. I like the snow, though.
Of March 1966, a MiG-21 shot down a Ryan Firebee drone. The drone was flying at 60,000 feet and was hit by a missile fired from about 55,000 feet. An ATOL was also used when an Egyptian pilot scored the first air-to-air missile kill in the Middle East. A Mirage 3 was hit and shot down on the 5th of June 1967. After the conflict, the IDAF-AF used captured ATOLs on their Mirages and scored a few kills themselves. They regarded the ATOL as being superior to the domestically produced Shafrir. By 1973, though, the ATOLs had been surpassed both by the Shafrir 2 and particularly by the AIM-9D Sidewinder, which featured an externally cooled seeker head, improved motor, warhead and guidance system. The US also supplied some of the cutting-edge AIM-9Gs during the emergency airlift during the war. These were radically superior to the aging Soviet missile, which was seen by the Arabs as a major reason they lost air superiority to the IDAF-AF.
AIM-9G?
I came across an interview
G
with a
as in
Syrian
Gamma?
MiG-21 pilot recently, which demonstrates the issues they had with
I
the
don't
ATOL in
remember
combat.
that.
For all of the
Really?
courage of the MiG-21 pilots, he said, we were constantly suffering problems with the R-3S missiles.
Oh boy.
Not only were these extremely problematic to deploy, but our pilots began complaining that the missiles failed to function on launch.
Does this
This
fold?
affair
No.
reached its high point on the 12th of October, when a flight of 4 MiG-21s intercepted Phantoms attacking
We are
civilian
gonna
Air Force
have an
base.
issue.
Each of our 4 pilots fired 1 missile, but they all missed,
We
although
are
fired
gonna
under
have an
ideal
issue.
circumstances. Subsequent inspection revealed an entire batch that had the same production mistake. Of course, the Soviets already knew about the limitations of the early ATOLs by this point and had started working on upgrades.
Taffel, roast, paahdettu, ilman rasvan tippaa. Älä säikähdä, hyvää makua.
Älä anna huuliherpeksen pysäyttää sinua. Huomaamattomat kompiit-laastarit auttavat paranemista
Don't
ja
let
estämään viruksen leviämistä.
lip
Take
herpes
control.
stop you. Why are
In
you giving me that
1974,
commercial?
a much upgraded version of the R3 entered service. At the front, the R3S's uncooled lead sulfide sensor was changed out for a liquid nitrogen cooled version. Perhaps this is what the Soviets got from the stolen AIM-9D in 1967.
Oh, wait.
The fins and rudders were larger and thicker, enabling the missile to make tighter turns at higher speeds. Appearance-wise, you'd be hard-pressed to pick the K-13M out of a lineup of AIM-9Es. They are very similar. Guidance logic was improved. Combat aircraft had started to carry flares to decoy infrared missiles, so K-13M was intended to have enhanced ability to ignore these countermeasures. The combination of new electronics and the cooled seeker doubled the cone in which the missile could lock on and track
if I'm
a target.
keeping that Makarov, I might
Unfortunately,
as well
the downside of the new logic was that it took roughly double the time to achieve a lock-on than the R3S. This isn't necessarily as bad as it seems. Because the K-13M has a much wider engagement envelope and the seeker scans through a larger volume of space,
this is actually
the process of acquiring a lock-on can start much earlier.
I fucked up.
Further back, the warhead and proximity fuse were switched around in the missile body.
We do take that backpack.
The fuse remained IR triggered, but it was a new unit called
less
Sinister.
room than it
The warhead was larger and of the continuous rod type.
I just need to get
In this case, that meant 144 metal rods welded together to make a chain. When the warhead detonates, a 34-foot diameter ring results, slicing the target apart like a chainsaw. A larger warhead meant a smaller rocket motor, but advances in motor design meant that the K-13M produced 70% more thrust than the R3, 13,230 pounds in a burn of between 3.3 and 5.4 seconds.
Yes.
Greater thrust, better aerodynamics, and improved guidance programming increased.
No, man, it's actually been a good day in Tarkov. Even though I'm fucking, like, I am almost a zombie. I'm fucking tired. I had to fast because I had to have blood work done this morning and an EKG. And I woke up at 5 a.m.
OKB-4 developed the R13M1,
and now I'm starving because I fasted. So after the hospital, I went to get diesel, and there was a really big burger there, so I ate that. But that was 7 hours ago now. Fucking hungry again. I'm fucking tired. But yeah, no, I mean, Tarkov has not been terrible to me.
Alongside the greater performance of the Seeker, this should allow launching aircraft to fire when pulling more G.
Killed a dude on Shoreline, got task done.
Performance-wise,
then I went to Shoreline again, killed a dude again at fucking spawn, but then he had a buddy.
It was compatible
and then I went to Shoreline and got task done and one of my pistol kills. And then we just did this. We haven't like done a shitload today though.
R13s were the last ATOS
and
to be used
we
to
don't
down
need
an
the
aircraft
sledgehammer
in
because we are
On the
already
16th of December 1980, an Iraqi MiG-21 shot down an Iranian F-5E Tiger II with an R-13. The pilot, one YS Ram, ejected and was
what?
recovered
I want to get. I kind of do
by
want to get.
Iranian forces.
Stop fucking unpausing. And then it goes to a commercial. Wait, what the fuck just happened? 1 second.
Craft of fire.
So I do want to. Yeah, this is what we needed the sledgehammer for, but we bought one and that's already being done. I want to. It's just my ADHD brain breaks down it into as many things as that, like every minuscule step that I have to do to get back in, which is I need to test all my HOTAS. Well, number one, I don't think I have enough USB slots, so I need to get a USB hub. But I'm fucking dead ass broke, man. I'm dead ass broke. I'm on sick leave. I'm on social welfare benefits. I have no savings left. So the benefits, I mean, yeah, I get money and not work, but my fucking brain is going fucking crazy, and those benefits are nothing compared to what I was fucking making. So I can just about afford my bills and to feed myself. So I need a USB hub, I'm pretty sure. I haven't even looked because I'm pretty sure. I mean, I have looked. That's why I'm pretty sure. I just haven't confirmed. I need to check all my HOTAS. I have a feeling that my stick is really fucking dead and loose. And then this Warthog throttle, like that little fucking button thing that you do the cursor with and whatnot, is fucking I need to test the VR. And then I remember the interface on my VR, the little foam thing that is between the headset and your face. I remember all of mine are fucking falling apart and have duct tape on them. And I mean, the other thing is I could do my 3 screens, put this small one vertical in the middle and these 2 bigger ones on the side. But I need to change my wall mount for that. And then I need to get head tracking. And we're getting a Finland map. I could fly over my... No, I can't. No, because it doesn't have the south part. Really? They're only doing the north part? No! I want the south. Because if I'm flying in DCS in Finland, I want to fly to my fucking island and land on it with a helicopter. But this makes sense because Norway, Sweden, Finland, Russia. But no, why would they cut off the south? That pisses me off, actually. That just pisses me off. But yeah, yeah. I mean, I did install DCS onto my computer, so it's all installed. I've downloaded all my modules. Everything is installed. But I need to figure out VR, monitor, head tracking, USB hub, test my HOTAS. And I do have an itch to get back in. But then, like, my brain starts thinking of everything I gotta relearn. Fucking all the key binding shit in fucking... Like, that's what I wish they would, like, improve. Seriously. That whole fucking user interface for the key binding shit is just shit. I remember how fucking annoying it was. Oh wow, it's a lot more expensive now than when I bought it early morning. Dope, I can make money back on it. Lol. I really hate the fact that they have that sledgehammer in this game. I really do. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all, really. The PB silencer is that cheap. But I do have everything. I mean, I don't have the Oculus software installed on this new computer yet. Oh, and also I need to get 16 more gigs of fucking RAM too. Because this comp only has 16 gigs right now. If anybody has a spare 16 gigs of DDR4 lying around, 3200 megahertz, I'd be happy to take it off your hands. Lol. You know what, fuck it. I'm selling it to him because I need 7 more grand spent there or sold there. However you want to fucking look at it. Oh, I did make some room because yeah. That all works. Except no, it doesn't. Well, maybe it does, because all this shit can be moved. Well, not all of it. Some of it. All of it can be moved. Holy fuck, I wanna go to sleep. Oh yeah, I can lock my electricity price per month, but I missed this upcoming month. If it's this fucking cold and shit next month and fucking prices are high, I'm gonna switch my fucking sleep schedule and be awake at night when the electricity is cheap. I need to make dinner. I need to not... Another insurance return? Yeah, but this time I didn't get a weapon back. They took my gun. The fuckers. I got rig. I got that back and that green backpack. Or was it that black one? Either way. But they took my gun. Oh, it was the VSS. I don't even care. I hate that fucking gun. Every time I try and run it, I fucking die. I don't even get a chance to fucking shoot. It's like cursed for me. And actually, now that you mention the Finland map, I think I remember fucking talk about it back in the day too. And I think back in the day, it pissed me off then too that they cut it off at the middle. I'm fucking just tired. And now when there's actually people watching, but then again, I've been streaming at fucking night to like fucking get through the night and blah blah. So it's also why nobody's been around, or early morning when people are fucking going to work. Not exactly the best times to fucking stream if But now that you guys are here, I'm just like, I'd like to keep streaming, but I also want to get off and make dinner. But yeah, I shouldn't do the same stupid shit that I did back in the day when I streamed and do fucking 18 hours and shit without eating, without drinking. I mean, that's another reason fucking all that rage. Fucking blood sugar fucking crash and shit. I always thought I could rely on my body to tell me, oh, you're thirsty, now's the time to drink. Oh, you're hungry, now's the time to eat. But I cannot count the amount of times that I've woken up at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning and realized I didn't eat anything all fucking day. And then, because you want to go back to sleep and you just won't, there's no cooking. So you fucking pour like a bag of chips down your throat. No wonder, I mean, my stomach issues too. The stress and whatnot, the cortisol streaming through the body, and then fucking eating like that and no fucking structure to it, and pouring a bag of chips down your fucking throat at 3 in the morning just so that you can get rid of the fucking hunger feeling so that you can fall back asleep because you have to wake up in like 3 hours to go to work. I hate this rotten lump of meat in my fucking head that is called my brain. Turns out I'm my own worst enemy. Yay. But I think I need to get off, and I think I need to go make fucking dinner. Cause I am hungry. And I'm really tired and I can feel a fucking headache coming on too. How high does this need to be gotten? If I could run the scav again, I'd run the scav again. 3 minutes. We're gonna do one more scav raid. Stupid! Wait, what? Oh, I see. That's it. How long? 7 hours? That's kind of big. And so's that. That's 5 more. That's not too bad. And 6 more. Motherfucker. Motherfucker. My latency is killing me. That one was purchased too already? Mother. Oh, hey, this. He's got 46 of them. Thank you. Wait, how many did I need? Fucking 5. Oh, already purchased. One. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Four more. 1. 2. No. 2. Damn it. Ooh, that didn't go according to plan. Fuck you, I pressed yes. Thank you. Illumination. 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. Not right now. I have 1.3 mil. Fuck it, let's do it. Damn it. 1. Damn it. Oh, these are expensive though. Fuck. Motherfucker. What? Are you kidding me? One. Fuck it. Nope. 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 Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. Have that. I need a lead X though. And now this. Okay, but you know what? We've spent enough money. Oh, we're still at 1.2. We're good. We're gonna do one more scav raid, and then I'm calling it. Then I'm calling it a day because I need to make dinner, and then I'm gonna watch a movie or something, and then I'm going to fucking bed. And I was up at 467 followers, but the 3 that unfollowed, I think they were the people fucking trying to sell graphic design work to me. I was like, I don't want you to waste your time, because I can't pay you. This scav actually has a 74U with a butt pad thingy and level 4 armor. I could very happily take that kit out. Havoc doesn't even fucking listen to my responses to his map shit and blah 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 and carry on a conversation. I'm talking to the void. Oh, what? This thing has a foregrip and a fucking butt pad? Okay, muzzle device is crap and no aiming. I wonder what ammo and how many mags. Does it have a laser on the other side? I think I might have seen a laser on the other side. That's my fucking herniated diaphragm again. Pushing up on my vagus nerve, causing me to hiccup. Twice. It's always twice and then it stops. I think the hiccup motion pushes it back down. Meaning my stomach down below my diaphragm. Where it's supposed to be. And not in my chest cavity. Where it's not supposed to be. You know how much damage this ADHD shit has done to my body without fucking realizing? Because just didn't know. Fucking dumbass. Really should have taken the hint when my beard turned gray overnight when I was 35. Literally. Overnight. This scav raid, and then it does have a fucking laser. Holy crap. My scav rep is good, I think. PS ammo. The gun's not even in that badge. Ooh, rip for the shotgun. Why am I know the X-Fills. Why did I double tap? I just wanted to know how much time. There's a lot of time. There's very possibly freaking PMCs here. There's definitely PMCs here. I just bought a bunch of hoses. I just bought a bunch of hose. Well. bunch of hoes. I just bought a bunch of hoes. I just bought a bunch of hoes. Scabby.
Ну и чё тут за хуйня? Сейчас тут всех закошмарю, я тебе реально говорю.
Oh shit, who the fuck is fucking shooting at me? Where the fuck did that even come from? That's sus. That one was sus. At least it feels sus to me. I want to see his profile. That feels sus. And was it a player scav? There's been way too many dickhead scavs around. But that's nothing new. And now I'm like actually feeling a little chilly. Oh, because the fireplace is out and the flue is still open, so there's a draft. I gotta make dinner. But I want to see this dude's profile, man. That was a little sus. I actually got a message from Battle State that one of my... I haven't reported. I've maybe done like 4 or 5 reports, I think. They sent me a message that said, your blah 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 from blah report from blah 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 and blah blah blah. I don't know, man. No, he's not cheating. Shit, his survival rate's worse than mine. Which does make sense, since he has 680 hours and I have like 4,000 something. Kill death is half of mine. He has a pretty good lifespan. Nah, he's legit. I had no idea where that shit came from. Actually, wait a second. Is that the dude that ran up the escalator? I thought he was a scav, but that gun looks kind of familiar. So I voice lined him and then I ran. I thought the shots were coming from the left from that hole in the wall. And so when I went this way, I thought I was... But if the dude that I saw run and voice lined was actually him, and he came back up that hallway, then he was fucking just right behind me. That may be how I fucked up. I totally misread the situation. But he ain't cheating. Not with that survival rate and that KD. He good. Good kill, man. I didn't need that shit anyway. Well. That's what my scav sounded like when he died. That's kind of a shame, though, because that AK had parts I could use. That armor was okay. That Nixor fucking lens, camera lens, whatever. That would have been dope too, because that's like 70 grand. Or was earlier in the day. Oh, another insurance return. And again, they took my fucking gun. People like my guns. Fuck you for taking my guns. I'm keeping that level 3 armor. That's actually level 4? Is it really? Why was I thinking it was level 3? Well, but that one we're gonna get rid of. And we're gonna get rid of that. Did I have... Shit, I can't get the backpack in there because I can't get the shit. Won't take either of them. He'll take this one. I already know it's gonna be worth the repair. 3,600 to repair, and I get 26. So that's a profit of 23. Okay, guys. It's been fun. I wish you guys would have talked to me. Well, I know Crabmeats can't talk because he's just lurking because he went to bed. Sudi hasn't said anything. And Havoc just came to tell me that Finland map is coming and blah blah blah. How do you do a raid? We're gonna raid. Dextrava. Alright guys. I'm out. I need to go make dinner, wind down, and I'm going to bed early. I'm gonna raid Dextravaganza. I know Crabmeats watches him too. I'm gonna say good night. Well, I'm gonna say good night on the stream. I'll still be on Discord if anybody wants to chat. But anyway, I'll be on tomorrow. Probably even early, because I'm probably going to bed really early. But thanks guys. It's been fun. Good night. Or I mean later, whatever. See, this is why I'm getting off. I'm just way too tired. My brain's not even fucking working.
Grumpy Finn, thanks for the raid. I'm sure I heard someone move. I'm thinking slowly, very slowly.